Welcome, friends. Welcome. I think we're live and there's no problems. Tonight, I will not be doing introductions. Tonight will be hosted by Pondothemad. Instead, I will unwrap this vanilla ice cream M&M sandwich and eat it in front of you. I want to warn you ahead of time. I do not normally eat on stream. It has been compared to watching a great cat of the savannah consume its prey. I will attempt to be as polite as possible. However, please focus your attention to whoever Pondo is talking to. Go ahead.
So,
I get typically we start with Sid. Is usually the case. But how's your week? Besides you know, been going on a 29 streak hour trying to fix a server and then passing out what I assume was several hours.
Yeah, that was the second time in as many weeks where I've had to pull more than 24 hours in a single go. It's not fun. It's really not. And then I ended up working so long the next day that I only got like 3 or 4 hours of sleep.
And you're salary, aren't you? So you don't get any overtime.
Yeah, I'm on salary. So that's, it literally cost me money because that was time I could have been making YouTube stuff and I wasn't. And then yesterday I was so run down. I was just like, I just kind of fucked off into Nowhereville and just kind of laid down and crashed out. Felt pretty good though. I feel a lot better today. Even though I'm still feeling a little bit drained. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty good week. The customer whose server that I had to pull an all-nighter to fix, they were amazingly grateful, and they were not expecting that sort of thing, and they were planning on losing all kinds of money the next day. So they were pleasantly surprised to realize that they were going to be able to earn money to pay their employees. So that was really good. And yeah, other than that, I've just been kicking around. I actually popped in for a surprise 11 a.m. appearance on a live stream over at Minnie and Badger, where we sat down and talked about the 2K and Take-Two nonsense and the Police 1013 stuff that I'm still working on the video for, which is already about a half hour in length, and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, good week aside from being tired. And I checked out the new Rebel Galaxy Outlaw.
Is that a VR game?
I don't know if it has a VR component or not.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to look.
I was interested.
That would be
but only
great
if it was
with
VR. I don't play space games that aren't VR anymore.
The mouse keyboard controls are pretty solid, so I would imagine it would translate pretty well to the VR controllers. I'll have to check. I don't know if it's VR or not. Let me Google that for you real quick. Let's see.
I've always been interested in VR just because I'm a tech nerd, but I don't always have like the space to dedicate an entire room just to have me just meander about trying not to hit the lamp on the end table.
I understand.
Now, do you typically just sit in your chair and do the VR, or do you just have to?
Only for games like Beat Saber or ones where it's expected that you have to get up and.
Yeah, there are some games where you have to stand up and
Skyworld,
like Eve Valkyrie and stuff like that. Yeah, you very much definitely sit down while you're doing it.
Vox Machina, you can punch yourself in the nuts in the process.
I really enjoy that game. I do. There's a lot of talk about VR, but I don't have any confirmation as to.
People are saying that there's trouble with the stream, so I don't know. Can someone confirm real quick that you can pull up the stream on your?
Mine says it's a network error.
I can't get it to load. It keeps saying error 2000 over and over again.
Okay. I guess I'll try restarting it.
It could be Twitch. Yeah, I just refreshed, and yep, same thing.
I can load up other streams.
Okay, well, I'm
Okay,
hitting
so I guess we
restart.
should probably reload.
Do you have like 6,000 bits per second?
I got 4,500. It's right where it should be, and it says I've had good quality output to U.S. East New York.
So maybe
Cannot
just-
start specified stream.
Anyways, yeah, I don't know if there's any VR on that or not. I'll grab my VR headset after the stream and find out.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm
I'll
gonna
have to
try to
recalibrate
switch
it.
from New York to another.
Cool.
I don't know if that worked. Says it's live. We'll find out.
Let me refresh here.
It looks like we're live.
Yes, I see it. I see it.
You know
It
what's
appears that
sad
we're back.
is that only the non-live viewers will have gotten to see me eat that ice cream sandwich.
Aww.
The ice cream cookie of the sacred oath.
What happened? We witnessed it.
And they also missed Sid's intro in the process. Only YouTube gets that exclusive content.
Well, that's fine. I'm a YouTuber. It fits.
Okay. Got anything else, Sid?
Should lock that. You should do. Only Patreon subscribers get to see you eat the ice cream sandwich.
Just start locking all introductions behind Patreon wall. Like just clip the intro off of all the videos and put them in Patreon only.
But you got to do it in a dickish mode.
$1.
Mid-sentence.
$1 tier, get all introductions. Somehow, I just don't see this working.
Just make sure you cut out. We have to find some topic that's like super engaging that we know everyone really follows along with, and then cut someone off mid-sentence. And
Disney,
say,
of
for all
course.
you Patreon subscribers out there.
Oh, who knew that intros were so contentious? There are seriously like two vocal camps of people who are like, I would like intros to be longer. I love about hearing your normalized lives.
I guess.
And then the other group is people that are like, you know what? Fuck you, Arthur. I'm not gonna watch intros. If only there was some way to skip them. And I'm like, there's a way to skip them.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go find it. I did a Twitch poll, like asking, should I do this style of video or this style of video? And because seemed like half the people really hated the idea and the other half really loved it, and it ended up completely split down the middle, exactly the same number of votes on both. I was displeased. I was like, that's really super helpful, guys.
When I think of polling,
And it
viewers,
wasn't
I
an
always think super
inconsequential
helpful.
number too. It was like a couple hundred votes for each.
Okay.
See, I agree with Grimdark James. I think the intros are just right. The intros are exactly as long as they need to be.
I'll tell you what. I mentioned on the Pokemon show that our intros were extremely short, like less than 5 minutes, and every week since then, intros have been a half an hour or more long. And that's a show that only goes for 1 hour. So a half-hour intro is half the time we have to play.
We could go longer, but you choose not to.
Pondo, you're in charge of the intros tonight.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, my intro's been done for a while. I'm just filling.
Yeah,
I'm
we're just-
trying
yeah.
to come up with filler until you throw somebody else's name out there.
I'll take it back
Actually,
from you
know
if you
what?
want.
I'm gonna punt it over to Raddosaurus. That's what
Oh,
I'm.
okay, good.
Yeah, I'm just discussing with Grimdark James in the chat here the rat effect on intros, and I'm not sure whether or not I should be insulted or not.
You should be insulted.
I would feel proud.
I am a large part of intro.
Yeah, feel
I'm
gravely
time-limited,
insulted.
I will admit.
I want to encourage beef between you and James so that next time he's the antagonist.
That'll never happen. He's my brother from down under. No, I've had a pretty good week. It's been busy. I've switched gears a little bit from my kids are pretty much ready to go back to school. So I've been spending this week getting my wife ready to go back to school. She's back to work this week and she has students coming in on Friday. So been helping her set up her classroom and move all of her little science pets over to her room and get posters laminated and all the things teachers do before students show up. So I've been kind of busy with that this week. I was hoping to be on the tabletop on Tuesday, but unfortunately I just had my hands full of stuff, so I couldn't make it. But I didn't actually miss the game because they played board games instead, which was fine.
No, we didn't. We played the Warren.
Oh, you played the Warren. Okay. Yeah, I need to watch that.
No, you don't. You really don't.
I shouldn't. Was it?
I told Bearded and Pondo, I said, you're playing regular rabbits. And immediately Bearded drew a rabbit with a headband and a knife. And I was like, rabbits have no way of inflicting violence. They can, however, invent violence as a move. And they were both like, immediately! I want to invent this kicking! I want to fuck this cat up! And I was like, okay, all right. And they spent the whole rest of the time kicking every object that they could.
I forever irrevocably change rabbit culture by introducing violence. I'm the first ape to pick up a stick and beat another ape with it.
They were so excited at the violence that I got stuck in a hole, so one of them kicked me out of the hole.
Now I definitely have to watch. So violence really was the answer.
It's like watching a slow motion tragedy. Violence made everything worse. It really is a portrait of how pacifist culture is destroyed by any invading species.
That's pretty realistic, yeah.
Yeah. And the best part is that
it only works as long as everyone is a pacifist.
Yeah. Let's see what else I got going on. I finally installed my storage drive on my computer.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it took all of like 10 minutes, really. And then a day of waiting for Sid to become conscious again to tell me what button to click.
I told you what button to click.
No apologies.
No, Arthur did tell you.
Arthur told me the button.
Arthur did steer you right. He did.
He did. And I made it home late that day and finally clicked that button. So now I have an extra terabyte of space. So I can finally put all of the things that, I can finally put the Photoshop suite on my computer.
Oh, if it was only 1 terabyte drive, then it wouldn't have mattered which one.
Oh, okay. Well, I could put Blender on my computer. I can finally start messing with some of the animation stuff I've been talking about. So I can finally kind of get my computer rolling on some more things. I've got a job lined up finally. But the job probably won't come online for another 4 to 6 weeks as HR. They got approval for the position. So now they just have to generate all of the things that go along with a salaried position at a architectural firm. So so I got that. So that's cool. So I'm only unemployed for probably another month. So I'll have to find ways to best enjoy that while I'm not trying to make side money to get me through September. Let's see. I got some new pets, which is something I'm normally very adverse to because I feel like we have plenty of pets in my house. But since my wife's snake went to her classroom and I no longer have that in my house, I was okay with acquiring some more pets. So we went and got 2 rats. So now we have rats again. We had rats before and then we didn't for a long time. I say a long time, it's like 2 years. And now we have rats again. Somebody gave us a chinchilla cage, which is huge. It's like probably 4 feet wide and 2 feet deep. And it's like 6 feet tall. So it's like this huge rolling rodent fortress that I now have 2 small rats in. I wanted to get a 3rd rat, but they only had 2 at the pet store, so I only got 2. And you don't really want to go to different pet stores and get different rats because then you can't be sure that they're all the same gender, and then you end up with 100 rats before you know it. So you have to make sure all your pet rats are the same gender, or you have a rat problem very quickly. But rats make great pets. A lot of people don't realize that they have close to like dog level intelligence. They learn their names. They can learn to do tricks. They can fetch. They can do all kinds of cool little stuff. So rats are actually really intelligent. You can feed them anything because they're fucking rats. So it's not like they don't have like sensitive tummies. So we had 2 little baby rats crawling here, like 3 feet from my right, in the rat fortress. So that's pretty cool. I really like them. I think they're great pets. They're only $10. They only live like 2 or 3 years on average. So you don't have to you're not making a huge commitment when you get a pet rat. They don't make a lot of mess. They're easy to take care of. If you think you want a bird, but you've never had a bird before, I would say get a rat because you're going to get the same level of play with it and hold it and mess with it that you would from a bird, except for birds are a fucking mess. If you've ever owned a bird, you know that they're a fucking mess. If you haven't owned a bird,
a lot of them are just noisy as hell too.
They're noisy, they're messy, and they're kind of difficult to take care of. Like they're susceptible to a lot of different like diseases and sicknesses and illnesses and stuff, and they really degrade the air quality in your home. I'm not trying to bag on birds. I'm sure there's some bird
They
lovers
squawk
out
too
there.
much, they might fall prey to 22itis.
But when you, if you love birds and you have birds, that's awesome. More power to you. It's just, you have to make a lot of, what I would call personal sacrifices. Maybe you don't see it that way because you get a lot of companionship from your bird, and that's fine. But I think a rat is a far superior pet to a bird because it gives you the same interaction that a bird would give you, minus talking, which is good because once you teach a bird to talk, it never shuts the fuck up. And it's a lot easier to take care of. And they don't live for like 50 years like a lot of large pet birds do. So that's good too. I will not leave these rats to anyone in my will like I will my tortoise. So yeah, that's I think that sums up my week for the most part. Got some new pets. Finally got a job hook firmly set in the mouth of the future, the future bass of my life. I don't know. Weird analogy, kind of fell apart there, but that's all right. Sometimes you got to take risks, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Off to you, Cotton.
Hi, I'm Cotton. I doodle and stuff. I don't think I really did anything exciting this week. But tomorrow I get to have sushi.
Nice.
That's about it.
Wait, there's a sushi place there?
Yeah,
I did not know this.
it's called tempura.
Oh, okay.
Bye. Goes to you, Pondo.
My week has just been mainly looking up rules, as far as because I just got Pathfinder 2nd Edition along with the Bestiary. And Sundays we'll be having in-person group playing that, where I'll be GMing.
I'll have to wait a while, and I definitely want to get your opinion on it because I'm not going to rush out and buy it, but I am interested. I want to know more.
Yeah, I'm curious.
It's kind of, I can say it's kind of like how people used to consider Pathfinder was like 3.75. I consider Pathfinder to be like a 5.5e.
Okay.
They simplified a lot of things down, but they did add like a lot more as far as like the base races go, because there's different heritages that are kind of like sub races, stuff like that. They molded half elf, half orc into the human line as far as heritage goes. Since I think originally they all had just +2.
So you would go human, and then from there you would branch off into like a half-seas race if you wanted to.
Yes. So you go either half elf or half orc if you wanted to. Trying to think of what else they're doing. They're also doing like the subclasses as well, as far as like the main classes go. Cleric, they did not do well. There are only 2 subclasses into it. It's either you focus mainly just primarily on spellcasting, or you focus on spellcasting and fighting.
Okay.
Paladin, they did differently. You don't really have spell slots, that's from what I could see. And they also changed the name to a champion.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah. So I imagine it's going to be a mixed bag for a lot of people. I don't know. So I've been looking up rules for that and whatnot. They did simplify the skills into like main categories, and they branch off from there. Like athletics, it's like general athletics, and then there's the train skills where it's where it goes from like climbing, pushing, stuff like that.
Does it still have all that like combat maneuver bonus nonsense for like grappling and all that?
I think you can get feats for that. So
Okay.
I guess I'd still getting into it mostly. So They've also changed the action system to where you get 3 actions, a reaction, I think a bonus action. I don't remember. But if you try to use all 3 of your actions at the same time, it'll do all your 3 actions to do attacks. So the first attack, there will be no modifier. Second attack, there will be a -5. And then third, it'll be a -10.
Oh, okay.
And as far as spells goes, you have to make sure you have the amount of actions needed to do the spells, because for whatever component to it is, it costs an action. So if it's verbal and semantic, you need 2 actions for that. Verbal, semantic, material, 3 actions. Or if it's just verbal or semantic, 1 action. So
Gotcha.
a little bit
Kind of cool.
more crunchy with the action economy, from what I could tell.
Okay, I dig it. I'll be interested to hear how it goes week by week.
It won't be week by week because I do have to work weekends, unfortunately. And I don't know if we want to start playing this weekend. If we do, I'll let you know. If we don't, it'll be not next weekend, but the weekend after next. So
Okay. Right on.
So that's been my week. How about you, AP?
Glad you asked. For like the last 2 weeks, sleeping 4 hours a night, I decided that I would take some NyQuil. My sleep schedule is now back on track, at least for the last day, but my eyes have been itching. And it's basically been fucking awful. Decided that I would not attempt to operate a car in this state, so I stayed home and did stuff from home. Other than that, past week has basically been as bad as the weeks before it. Just a continual procession of shit. Thanks for asking, Pondo.
How's the cookie?
Well, you know, it was partially melted. It had been in room temperature air for about 30 minutes as a result of when we started the show. I even put this week's countdown timer at 7 minutes instead of 8 minutes in an attempt to eat it before it fell apart. It didn't help. What I have done this week is bump my Kickstarter commitment from the Star Captain $50 level up to whatever the $300 level is, so I can get a canon character. But now I can't get Kenneth Cross, and I can't get Captain Crow either. Crow dies at the beginning of the clan invasion.
During the clan invasion.
Yeah, but I don't want to take your character from you.
I mean, I don't care.
He's your creation, and also he died at the very beginning of it. The clan invasion is supposed to be characters that are available from 3050 to 3057.
What about Rapier?
Not a Mechwarrior, unfortunately. So I don't know. I'll think of something. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we get started tonight?
I've got nothing.
Well, for those at home, don't forget that there's a Crow's Black recruiting poster that is in the description section on YouTube, and it's also, I believe, pinned on Discord. There's a merch store where you can get merch on Discord. And finally, I asked all these guys to come back to me with what mech they'd like to use tonight. The only one who answered was Pondo. So there will be no mech combat tonight. That's a dream that we will not have. Instead, Pondo and Cotton have both asked that we do role-playing because there hasn't been enough time, and then everyone sat down and agreed, there hasn't been enough time. So tonight's episode will just be role-playing, and hopefully by the end of it, they'll figure out which mechs they'll like to use next week.
I'm sorry I missed that. I would stick with the Marauder.
Of course you would.
Yeah, I would have stuck with the mech I was piloting.
The Timberwolf A. Okay, I'm writing that down now.
Pretty good with that.
Well, I mean, the important part of asking is if Pondo is lowering his mech weight so drastically and considerably, it might be worth thinking about other choices. But
If we're going mediums, then I'll take the switchback.
Wolverine 7K. It sounds like maybe this is something you guys want to do in character and figure it out. Cotton is taking Marauder 2, as I thought she would. Someone asked, will Cotton take the Marauder 2? And I was like, well, she's actually never piloted anything but a Marauder 2 and like one mech during the playtest. And who knows what Rad'll pilot? I mean, Rad'll just be like, can we build a gladiator mech out of... Can we take the elemental battle suits and create a super battle suit out of it?
I just want a 5.65 king crab with with dual UAC 20s and
Yes.
Look, someone today was like, when are we gonna get Pondo in a Gosszilla or one of the Thunder or whatever, the 3 Gauss rifle machine? I was like, he's afraid of Gauss rifles now. He was thinking of piloting a Piranha instead. And they were like, the Piranha? You mean the thing that explodes like a matchball?
I just want 12 machine guns all set to rapid fire.
You gotta take that Kraken. 10 AC2 Ultras and 4 machine guns. That's the appropriate number of what?
Just to be a little shithead.
It's a great mech as long as all you're doing is destroying small things at a very long distance.
That's potentially 20 shots going, maybe hitting someone's head cockpit, all right?
That's true. Yeah, that's why people are huge dicks when they use things like LBX shotgun style AC-20s. You sit there and you have to figure out where each shot goes. It's super big pain in the ass.
I was tempted with that as well.
Yeah.
Just
It
switch
doesn't
out
surprise me
the
that you would slow down the action to beg for scraps and try to get that head hit as desperately as possible.
Yeah. Well, you think
Understood.
I've made a grasshopper with 8 machine guns on it?
Understood. So, for tonight's timeline, we ended our combat with the clans on September 30th. And Murder 6 is released from trial on December 21st. The 4 of you must depart by December 26th, is when your dropship will take off. You can do anything you want between September 30th and December 21st. Or 26th. Maybe you want to have a Christmas thing with Murder 6 out of jail. I don't know. You guys tell me what you want to do. I'll be sleeping here if you need me to play an NPC.
Should
Don't all speak
probably
at
do
once.
the explanation to Black Rabbit and Ronan.
oh yeah. There's the whole thing of whether or not Ronan will kill Bandito.
Well, that's later.
Are we
I want to say, by the way, Ronan getting the information about Bandito was supposed to be the last thing that happened in this season. I didn't anticipate that Rad would push it before the final epilogue set.
Why? How did you not anticipate that? I don't know.
He's had all season to do it, Pondo.
Well,
Why would you think I would be like, okay, I want to stalk Rapier while he's at a bar, then have sex with him and steal him afterwards?
I've been
Yeah, Pondo, I was capable of anticipating that shit. Let me tell you, I just got my calculus out here.
I mean, you should have been.
I've been planning on enlisting Rapier to help me solve this riddle for a very long time, but this is literally the first time I was exposed to him.
Understand.
The story for like
Now.
months. So I just had to, I had to take the situation as it came.
Fine. The first scene is October the 21st.
Are we still on the Den of Sin? Are we
The Den
what's
of
it called?
Sin. You depart the Den of Sin on October 17th.
Okay,
you
the
arrive
sex
back
circus?
at home on October
I don't get to
21st.
go because I was busy
You recall
so
that
we're
you
back
were not
home.
there.
Got
not
it.
getting killed.
So there's a table and Rapier is sitting at it and he is talking to someone, but we can't see who it is. And he goes, now look, I know we spent the night together. I was pretty drunk. Might have done some things that I don't remember.
Maybe.
But no, the camera zooms out. It's Bandito. And that's when it zooms back to, if you'll recall, Bandito. Yeah, I got you guys at this one. But this actually did happen.
Fast rewinds.
If you remember, Bandito and Rapier took a road trip around the continent while he was drunk. And so technically he slept in the car. All of this is true, but I got you with that fake out, didn't I?
Yep. Cinematic genius.
So Rapier's just like, look, I want to talk to you about these clanners. Who knows if we're ever going to see Murder 6 again? I mean, there's a pretty good chance. I mean, I'd say it's nearly a certainty that he's down for this. There's basically no situation where he doesn't go to jail for the rest of his life or be executed. I just can't see a way out of this. He would have to deliver a amazing and epic speech with many high-ranking nobles backing him. I don't see it being possible.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of the Lear intelligence people. They don't really have high hopes either.
Okay, so we can all agree that you will probably end up running this unit in the near future.
That's a bit of a stretch, but okay.
So he pours some whiskey out for both of you and sets the glass in front of you. Look, these clanners, right? I think they're having trouble adjusting.
I can imagine.
They don't like speaking in contractions. They don't have last names, and it's making it a little hard to integrate them into the unit. Some of them have names like Delta. When he says that, the large elemental who painted Murder 6's room is just like, did someone call for me? Sit down, Delta! I'm not talking about you.
Well,
But look, man, what I want to tell you is quiet, private. Like, sometimes off base in woods south of the Countess's estate, and they have meetings in the night. And I've tried spying on them. Pretty good at like counterintelligence. Also, I'm usually actually on. I'm telling you, man, they're like setting up a weird cult. Started calling themselves Clan Crow. Okay? It's weird. And I don't want to deal with it because I don't even know what my job is anymore. I mean, provisionally I'm an ensign, but technically I'm a senior sergeant. The Countess hasn't told me whether she's going to keep me on the command staff or whether I'm going back to doing wiring in a secret base that's so unsecret people from other planets know about it.
I'll put in
It's being turned into a heritage site. Have you seen? He like pulls up his smartphone. He's like, look at this. Look at this. And it's all of Black Rabbit's artwork is being archived. And there's like some stuffy dude, very dark skinned, but he's got like a curly white wig on. And he's like, this piece here is a prime example of the instinctive urges of the beleaguered people. You can see the rabbit symbology surrounded by skulls indicates a sort of passive resistance against death, the kind that you might believe would exist in a off-duty officer, Mechwarrior, without anything to do, waiting for the next mission. Yes, it speaks deeply to me on a level that I hadn't thought I would ever reach again. This is one of the greatest works I've ever seen, and that's why I'm proud to announce that this irradiated wrecked dropship underneath the ground will be turned into the Kolovrati off-site auxiliary fine arts facility number 3.
How the hell did they sneak that from?
So the Countess is there, like shaking his hand, and she gives a speech, but he stops the footage there, and he's just like, "Yeah, that's right. They bought that wrecked piece of shit. And you know what? I had to hand wire that. Okay, hand wire. I ran that base for 2 weeks.
You search on Comstar Earth for secret base, and they've got a street view of it.
Rapier? How about this? If you want to, if you're interested in being in the leadership staff, I will put in a recommendation for you.
To do what? What am I doing? I don't even have a rocket launcher anymore. I had to use that, okay? You know what it's like living life without a rocket launcher? It's tough.
Rapier, we can always get you a new rocket launcher.
You never know when you need a rocket. What if that galaxy commander rises from the dead and I have to hit him with a ghost rocket, okay?
That'd be very difficult, the current state that I left him in.
Leave that. But space magic is...
It's
Gotta
not
be ready
space
to fire a
magic.
rocket at any minute, Bandito. You're a mech warrior. You don't understand what it's like for us on the ground.
We can get you a new rocket, all right?
Better give me a lot of rockets.
We'll get you one.
Those new guys all got rockets.
They use them immediately. You get one to keep, buddy.
Look, I don't know what you think I'm going to be doing on the command staff, but we need to circle around. Yes, my promotion would be very nice. Of course, a raise would be great as well. Increased responsibility, maybe not so much, but it's clans, right? Something needs to be done. We can't just let them be going out there and, like, who knows? Are they into... What do you know about claners? They're steel vipers. Do they go out there and drink snake venom? Do they sacrifice humans? Do they even know what children are? Like, I don't know.
If it'll make you feel better.
You know what would make me feel better? Telling my superior officer about it and then handing them all the work while I go drink. Then he stands up and takes the bottle with him.
And the doc can go out there.
He's walking away while drinking.
Rapier? Okay.
The back of his shirt says the buck stopped somewhere else.
What?
The buck stopped somewhere else. You're too young. That's fine.
Okay. You said the back of my shirt? What?
The back of his shirt.
Oh.
Back of his shirt.
As he's walking away.
Okay, I was...
I think you should
Lovely.
throw Pondo.
I know.
All right, I guess I gotta go make a recommendation for Rapier, probably in terms of the intelligence officer.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. There have been several deaths or resignations in the unit.
That what?
Yes.
deaths or
who are you
resi-
who are you going to make that recommendation?
The countess is not available at the moment, right?
The Countess is available.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd go to the countess, and she's
Okay.
my boss, or
Yes.
my boss's boss.
So she's at her estate, in her second office. You know, sometimes you have to have more than one office. This is the specific for unit business, not her noble office. And when you come in, she says, "Yes, please sit down, Mr. Gray."
Oh, I gotta sit. Oh, that's not good.
Why would that be not good?
Benito holding the recommendation papers in his hands, just sits down.
She takes them from you.
Oh, okay.
You're recommending a promotion for Rapier.
Yes.
What would you envision his process being?
Intelligence officer.
Well, that's good, because Genie Pie has resigned from his duties.
For what reason?
It is his
Verbal
prerogative
abuse.
to resign his duties. His contract is up. In addition, I've received word from the planetary security that Sergeant Major Gwendolyn Crimson was found drowned on a boating trip last night.
Yeah, I was going to guess this one happened.
It appears
Well,
she
not
got
exactly.
too intoxicated and fell out of her fishing boat.
Onto some bullets.
I don't
bullets.
necessarily believe that, but I guess I'll go with it.
Do you have some particular reason to have suspicions of this? She looks alarmed when you say that.
I spoke with some of the Lear intelligence people while you're gone. And they imagined since she did not do some very tasteful things to some of the Comstar priests.
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
I am surprised.
Seems that Lyrid Intelligence is reporting to you and not to me, which I find somewhat concerning.
Well, they would initially report to Harridan, but
I believe they should be reporting to the person in charge of the unit.
Yeah, they're really confusing.
Which would be Harridan.
Which would be her.
Which would be her. She owns the unit.
Harridan. He took it over. She just did.
Says commanding officer right here. Crystal Crow. Chief Operations Officer Maxwell Harridan. That's so weird. Isn't that below the executive? Sid just like, just let me run the unit, Arthur. And I'm like, no.
You had your chance.
You need, you did have your chance. Yeah, so she pulls out another set. She's filling out paperwork, and she pulls out another form that looks exactly like the other ones that are already on her desk, and just slides it underneath the ones that are there and says, I suppose it's one more letter. It's good that we've received so much funding lately, because the survivor benefits may in fact kill us.
Yeah. Is there anything I can do to help?
How much do you like doing paperwork?
Enough to keep my job.
So she begins handing you over not notices of termination, whether they be goodbye, your time with the unit is over, or I'm sorry to inform you letters. But she hands you over the paperwork for the transfer of 4 Rommels, 4 patents, and a explanation as to what exactly is going on, that she's handing out numerous titles of nobility to people and millions of tax breaks. If you could just fill out this paperwork, we could begin getting those tanks transferred over to the unit. We're in somewhat of a weakened state as far as defenses. We may actually be better off on mechs than when this conflict began, but we have no mechanized forces, and we're out of aerospace fighters.
Well, considering what we went through, I would be surprised that we had what we have at the moment.
Yes, honestly, it's astounding that we managed to go up against a force 3 times our size with much superior weight and technology, and we barely lost any personnel or mechs.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to say it, but I wanted to thank you for the work that you and your Lance have done over the past few weeks. You have become exemplary pilots. I can recall our first mission together, all the way back in what's now the Rim Collection. There was some punching and kicking and catapult, and unit discipline was very different back then.
Yeah.
They've had some bad influences on the team.
Yeah. There's also been some shootings and all that. You know, let's not talk too much about the past. To be honest, it was just felt part of the job.
I see. Well,
Despite how much we could have just sat around and done nothing, didn't really sit right with any of us.
well, Acting boldly certainly paid out for now. However, if you don't have any other business, I must begin with the first of these. And she slides the first form off, and it says McGurk Butch notification.
Interesting. Well, I don't got much else for you. I'll go ahead and work on these forms for you, and anything else you need me to do, just let me know.
Have fun, Lieutenant. Consider taking a vacation.
That doesn't sound fun. Actually, it does sound fun, but I can't at the moment so long as Captain's still in jail.
You know I can run this unit without you. I've been doing it for years.
Yes, but I wouldn't feel right doing it.
Right. Well, I can't order you to take a vacation.
Well, you could.
But I'm pretty sure you could, but you know.
Get out of my office.
Okay.
As you're leaving, you hear her click on a holo transmitter, and she says, "Warrant Officer McGurk, I regret to inform you." Shut the door behind yourself.
Going to super send that message. Pay the big bucks.
Well, it's going a very long distance. What thing do you guys want to do next?
I'll do a scene with Cotton if nobody else has one lined up.
Okie dokie.
So yeah, I feel like I don't know, where would be a place where you would have more than a reasonable assurance that you would be having a private conversation? Would you have to go like out of the castle if you really wanted to be super paranoid about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, we meet at I don't know, rent a room at like the library or something. I don't know. Where's a place?
You have to travel hours in any direction to...
Just go out into the woods.
Okay.
So I feel like we're just sitting on a like a fallen tree, right? Like a log bench. It's just got a little the equivalent of a burner phone like tablet. And they're sitting there watching a video it's pulled from the thumb drive that Rapier gave her. So she's showing Black Rabbit, get out of here, cat. She's showing Black Rabbit all of what Rapier gave her. And we cut to them sitting there watching it, and probably the video concluding.
So basically, Cotton, you've just watched the entirety of the Issei Collision podcast, which includes a scene of Bandito. It's gun camera footage of Bandito zooming in with the Gauss rifle to target a pleading for mercy and forgiveness Kenneth Cross. And then he just disappears after the Gauss rifle discharge.
I have questions. Does it show like all of it? Like
It's recovered after Bandito tried to destroy it. So it does not show the entirety of it. It's just bits and pieces as best as can be pieced together.
And it's also...
But that scene of him being executed is super clear.
Okay. And it's in there with a bunch of like Rapier conspiracy theorists, like...
Everything he's saying is
like
100% true.
Like string on the wall.
Space
type,
magic.
Yeah.
There are other universes parallel to our own.
The inner sphere.
but it's clear that this is like a different location in the video, or
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that this takes place on a planet with low levels of technology.
And mystical creatures that are...
Yeah, one would say 21st century technology with weird floating blob-eye creatures.
Are there weird floating blob-eye creatures in the video?
Yes.
Okay.
what is this?
Obviously, it's a holovid.
You know,
Some kind of movie?
I can't explain 90% of what I see here, but I have some friends that I would like to take a look at this. And if it turns out that this is true, I mean, where does that leave me, Selena? If Bandito murdered the only man I ever saw as a father in cold blood as he begged for forgiveness, where does that leave me? What am I supposed to do now?
Well, that's kind of up to you.
What
You
would
want
you
to
do?
continue this cycle because it looks like Bandito was avenging somebody else.
Right.
You want to avenge the person that he was avenging. You know, someone might come to avenge Bandito. That's never going to end if you do it that way.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone would come to avenge Bandito, but maybe. So
Long lost
right.
cousin.
let me flip this on you then. If your parents had been killed or
My parents have been killed.
right, your parents have been killed. That's what I meant to say. Words are hard. Your parents have been killed. What would you do if you were given evidence of who was responsible? What would you do to that person?
Hypothetically, I would go across the galaxy to join into a mercenary group to attempt to get aid in ruining the guy's life.
You came up with that answer really fast.
I know, just a hypothetical one.
Okay, sure. This was D&D. I'd roll
Just
insight
putting
on
it
you.
out there.
Yeah. All right. Well,
But do you really want to kill somebody you've been fighting with all this time?
do you feel any great emotional connection to any of the people here? Have you ever been made to feel like you are part of the Crow's Black family?
Not exactly.
Me neither.
But I consider you a friend.
Well, same. That's why we're sitting in the woods here together, looking at, I don't know, space magic.
If you kill a member of our group, our friendship is over.
You know, that's something I had considered, which is why I wanted to bring you out here and talk to you about it. You know,
She says as she pulls a gun out from
this
behind.
this is all my life has been about for the
over.
last however many years. And now that I'm staring the conclusion of this part of my life in the face, I'm not sure that I'm ready to throw away my future on this person who, you know, I don't know. I don't even think qualifies as a person, to be honest with you. Would I throw away my own life for the sake of stepping on a bug?
There is only one thing in this world that I really hate, even more than the clanners and all that.
Bugs.
Filthy spies.
It's Harridan.
Yep. Maybe I shouldn't have brought you out into the woods and had you sit on a dead tree. I won't tell you how many spiders people think are in a square foot in the forest. So we'll just not talk about that.
I don't mind bugs.
Just spiders?
Spies.
Spies. Oh. Well, I mean, what do you want? What do you think I should do?
Neither of us know Bandito that well.
I mean, I feel like I know him pretty well now. If any of this is true, which I can't verify because there's some weird ass shit on this video, but
That's
I think I know some people that can help me with that.
but you're willing to go and kill Bandito for killing your father, right?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he did to avenge his parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I judged you purely on that one moment, if you wanting to kill Bandito,
Well, all right.
everything else before then.
I mean, sure. From your high horse of wanting to travel across the galaxy with a mercenary unit and destroy somebody's life, which could be infinitely more painful than just ending it. Yes.
That's why I'm doing it.
You
but-
are doing it.
Because it's more, I mean, no, not if I was, hypothetically.
Right. Oh, sure.
Outplayed so hard. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's somebody that I have gotten to know, if it was in a situation.
Well, you know, hypothetically, if you needed somebody
Hypothetically.
to travel with you all the way across the galaxy to take vengeance on somebody who had been responsible for the death of your parents, you know, you could count on me in that instance, right? just like I'm counting on you right now to help me come to a conclusion with this. I understand that you don't want me to murder somebody. Noted. And I will definitely have to think about that. But do you think we have enough here to destroy his life?
No, this looks like someone was on drugs and made a movie.
Okay.
What I would
Then
suggest,
I need your help.
I would suggest, before you kill him or destroy his life, you can try to figure out who the real bandito is and pass judgment on whether he deserves it or not.
Are you suggesting that you believe that there are multiple banditos?
No, I'm not suggesting that.
Okay, then who do you think the real bandito is, and should he?
I mean, you get a chance to know him.
Another one out of storage.
Oh, get to know him personally.
Personally, because I don't know him that well.
I mean, he seems just like a whiny exo with a stick up his butt. How much more do you think there is to know?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I could say you were a ruthless killer, but I know that you're more than that.
Only barely.
But it's there. And you're pretty loyal, you know, that's a really good quality.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to weigh how much all of this other stuff matters versus someone destroyed my life. And now I'm maybe have a reason to believe that I found that person.
Did they destroy your life?
I mean, the person who killed Kenneth Cross destroyed my life.
Is your life
I've been working on creating a new one, but they destroyed any life that I had. There's now a Molly Olsen that will never exist because she was on a path and that path was stripped from her.
But Kenneth Cross did that to people too.
Well, I mean, all warriors do.
I got your razor for you.
Stand by.
And a Comstar acolyte
Brief intermission.
out of nowhere.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, that Molly Olsen. You know, have people died in battle? I mean, absolutely. And that's what happened to Bandito's parents, but that's not what happened to Kenneth Cross.
Do you even know if this is real? Because I really cannot tell. This looks really weird.
I don't, but I've been grasping at straws for the better half of a decade. Rapier's convinced. Now, take that for what it's worth. But
you see, I don't know Rapier that well either, but he seems a little odd.
And you know, maybe a lot of it is doctored up. I don't know. It's certainly unexplainable. But there are other elements that are very real and look very authentic. And just because somebody may have overlaid a bunch of fake garbage on top of something realistic to make it not realistic is a reason to be more suspicious, not less.
Why would someone do all of that?
Exactly. Why would someone do all that? My only inclination is they probably wouldn't. And this is unexplainable for some other reason. Because who has the motivation, or skill to create a giant fake movie about how Bandito murdered Kenneth Cross on some fake planet? That seems completely ridiculous. What seems less ridiculous, though, is if the person who really killed Kenneth Cross took the only existing evidence that he had and turned it into something that would look fake.
But if he was trying to hide the evidence, why would he keep the fact that he was the one who did it in there? Why wouldn't he put someone else's name, someone else's video in?
I mean, that's a fair question. I didn't say it. There aren't more questions. Only that if it is fake, someone went through a lot of effort to make it look fake. And I'm not sure why anybody would do that.
Bandito would.
What?
Unless it was to make it look like it didn't happen the way it happened. And that doesn't make him seem more innocent. It makes him seem more guilty.
Still, if
You seem
someone,
like
if you
you're really,
intro-
you seem like you're really wanting to go to bat for Bandito here.
I'd like to think we can trust the members of our unit.
Why?
Because I think you're supposed to trust people in your unit. Besides, if you go into battle with a unit that you shouldn't trust, they usually shoot you in the back of your mech, and they haven't done that.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to keep looking into this, and I'd appreciate if you didn't say anything to anyone yet. But for you, I will not kill Bandito yet.
That's fair. At least let me have a talk with Bandito and Harridan at the same time.
You just can't tell them that I have this, though.
I will not.
But if you want to talk to them to try and get to know them or judge their character or something like that, by all means. I don't think that I could be in the same room with him until I know one way or the other, to be honest with you.
How can you know one way or the other if you don't talk to him?
Well, like I said, I know some people that I can trust, that I've known for a long time, that I can send this to, and can begin to help me verify its authenticity.
You should be careful who you send that to, though.
I will.
Because if you're wrong about this and they think Bandito did it.
These are some former Lance mates of mine that have as much invested into finding out what happened to Kenneth Cross as I do.
Isn't that more of a reason not to show them that one?
Why would that be?
Because if they are as upset as you and getting revenge,
Well, they're not here, so they're obviously not as upset as me.
if this video turns out to be fake, and they think that somehow Bandito did it because of that clip, and they come here to kill Bandito, an innocent man, it'll be your fault.
They're not going to come kill Bandito. There's a reason I'm the one bouncing around between different mercenary units trying to find the person responsible, and they aren't. We all have our things that we're good at in life.
Because they have money to hire assassins instead.
Maybe. Hey, that's a whole nother route I haven't gone down, Sid.
Let me just get ready to briefly take trait hated by.
All right. I trust these people. I appreciate your concern. You're not wrong to be concerned. But I'm gonna follow this up, and you follow up your I don't know, your personality evaluation of the rest of our Lance. How about that?
All right,
And I won't do anything violent until we get back together and talk again.
that sounds fair.
Okay. All right. We skip joyfully through the woods back
Right
towards our...
about that time, they get their comms beep from Harridan ordering them to report to his office.
Oh, sweet. We eventually make it there, I guess. Actually, if you just want to do, just do Black Rabbit for a minute, because I'm going to go try and get a kid in bed.
Okay.
And I'll try and come in and rejoin this meeting here in just a second. Molly has to go take a dump before reporting to the office. I'll be right back.
So, Bandito, not dead yet.
Yeah.
Still on the line.
Ow.
Good for now.
So, yeah, Harridan comes back. He's not dead. Survives.
I think Bandito's just shocked. Like, what?
as surprised as you. Trust me. Yeah, I call in Black Rabbit and Ronan, although Ronan's off
Ronan will be here shortly.
to the fresher before showing up. Good. Well, I wanted to take some time now that all of this craziness is behind us to sit down with you both, because a lot's gone on over the past couple of months in regards to the clan invasion, and we haven't really had a chance to talk. Especially haven't had a chance to fill you in on some things that, if you are part of this lance, you probably should be aware of. And he hands you a data pad and says, I have to remind you, you did sign a non-disclosure agreement when you joined the units. That is very much in effect.
She's like looking at the data pad.
And this is what that contains is a confidential file from Black Crows. It outlines our operations and our missions here, how they came to be. There's a full report and full accounting from me, and how I ended up joining Crows Black. It also outlines how we became a covert arm of Lyran Intelligence, although covert is a very loose term considering we're a Mechwarrior unit. But I thought some of this information you should be aware of because, well, to be honest, you stuck around with us and you fought with us against the clans when you had absolutely no reason to do so. You had just joined the unit, you didn't know us, you didn't know anything about us. But you put your life in our hands and we put our lives in yours. Thankfully, that worked out for the best. But I thought that deserved some disclosure. So anything you want to know, anything you want to ask?
How come?
I will answer to the best of my ability.
How come I found out about you guys being a Lyran intelligence group from the lady who's currently running my pleasure ship?
That's very curious. I'd be very interested to know how she found out about that. But I do apologize that someone else informed you before I did. It was always my intent to let you know. As I said, though, situations being what they were, it wasn't exactly high on the list of priorities at the time. But that's part of the reason why I called you in here now, is to set the record straight and make sure that you were aware of what we were doing and why. I had always intended to be honest with you. It's just circumstances, needs as the devil drives. So I do apologize for that. But yes, it is absolutely correct. We don't necessarily work for Lyran Intelligence, more we're commissioned by them.
Were you going to tell me this before I called you guys?
Oh, when you called me and Bandito. Yes, actually, that's what I was referring to when I said I can't speak about that on an open chat. Operational security and all that. God knows who would have been listening, and probably half the nobles on the planet were listening to that call.
And Comstar.
And Comstar. Well, Comstar already knows, I'm sure. You're not there. You already know all this stuff. So yes, we are commissioned by Lyran Intelligence. That's why we're here on this planet. That's why...
Why are we here on this planet?
Well, it's because Lyran Intelligence chose for us to be. Perhaps they knew more about the clan invasions than they thought. Perhaps they knew that we had somehow managed to piss those clans off and they were going to attack. And they placed us in that position while at the same time taking care of the terrorists that were on the planet at the same time. Intelligence operatives, they don't explain why.
You never asked?
Oh, you can ask all you want.
Yeah.
It's whether or not they answer.
Yeah, I've tried before, and they are, I could say, less than helpful. Personally, from what they've been actually told me, it was a surprise that Herod is actually not in death. Actually, yeah, just dead.
Well, that was fully expected. I think everyone was expecting my demise, including myself.
Well,
We
I
pissed-
tried to help as much as I could with that, so that you could come here and talk to me, at least.
I did want to. I mean, you are members of my unit. You're a member of my alliance, which means I do trust you, and I want to be as open as possible. I do. I've placed my life in your hands how many times? I've
I
lost
don't
count over the past couple of months. A great many. You can't do that if you don't trust a person, and trust, especially in Atlance, is paramount. I do feel that I can trust you, even though you're a bit impertinent. It's one of those situations where my trust in you has never failed me. And hopefully, I've never given you cause to raise any undue concern. I know we haven't been able to tell you everything up to this point, but like I said, that's what I'm trying to correct.
You have done things that cause me concern.
Such as?
Such as when we made allies, you talked about slitting their throats in the middle of the night.
It's fair.
You also said we were done fighting, and then I found out we were attacking a dropship, and I got no say in this.
Also fair. As to the throats...
Also, I never got a full reason why the clans wanted to kill you all.
Oh,
than
that!
pissed them off.
Yes, that I can explain. They're insane.
That's not an explanation.
Oh.
You want me to explain this part, sir?
Yes, because I don't fully understand it myself. It seems like we violated their honor code one too many times or something about Zilbriggen and some other nonsense.
Essentially, clans have these series of rules that they go by. And apparently while we're on the core that we had no knowledge of their set rules. We've broken many of them to enough point where they declared a trial of annihilation, where they wanted to kill all of us, including our kin and any sort of genetic offspring that could have been possible.
Basically, we right done did piss them off rather a lot.
And
so that's
I
why
think
they were here.
For what I've learned is that Steel Viper are the most cantankerous of them.
Do you have a good explanation for anything else?
Well, let's circle back to the how you put it, the throat slitting incident. You have to understand that the people that we took in were pirates, and not exactly the most trustworthy of
You're
laws.
mercenaries.
The people we took in were terrorists, actually, not pirates.
Oh, correct. Terrorists. Yes, we are mercenaries. We're hired for money, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we always take the highest paying job. It doesn't always mean that we do everything just for the money. We did a lot on this planet without getting paid. We did a lot that we didn't have to do, and we did it because it was the right thing to do. And why is that not silenced? My God.
As Harridan's like, we don't always take the highest paying job. There's like a smash cut to like our financial records where we've literally taken like every highest paid job we've ever been offered. And one of them on the list is like terrorism. And it was like a job that we accepted.
We did.
That's what happened with season 2.
We made a lot of decisions here that involved doing the right thing. Not necessarily the safest thing, not the most financially profitable thing, but the right thing. You know, I will freely admit I wasn't always that way. These clanners, if anything, made me realize a side of myself that I don't know, wasn't quite so terrible as I thought I was. And when we bring in terrorists to the base, yes, we did entertain the idea of potentially removing them because they were a very clear and present threat. But ultimately, we decided to place our faith in them because that was the right thing to do.
They called us for help and you left them to die.
Yes. Yes, I did.
I thought you said you placed your faith in them.
I did. But in that particular instance, I'm not going to throw your life away and the lives away of the people in this unit for a bunch of people that I don't know, a bunch of terrorists that I don't know.
I don't know you, but I still would have gone to save you.
Yes, but by that point, we had already fought together. We had already bled together. It's very different with those terrorists.
So if on my first mission we hadn't fought together, and I got into a pickle, you would have left me to die.
In my unit.
They were in our unit at the time. We had a deal. We had an alliance. It was temporary, but they were part of our group.
We had an alliance, and they were just waiting for the right time to stick the knife in our backs.
How do you know that?
Because I know the type. I've seen it hundreds of times. I used to be that type, for God's sake.
So you can change, but they weren't going to be able to.
You know how difficult the road for change can be. Very few people can manage it. Besides, I wasn't about to risk your life over theirs. You are more important to me than they are.
Why is that?
I apologize if
you know me.
Less in your eyes, but you are more important to me than a bunch of terrorists. That's for damn certain. Was it the right choice? Probably not. But it seemed like the right choice at the time. And unfortunately, I don't get any do-overs. Sometimes I do make the wrong choice. That happens. But I will never regret not risking your life unnecessarily.
You had us storm a dropship. When we were told we could stop fighting.
Yes.
That's not risking our lives unnecessarily?
No, it wasn't unnecessarily because it was calculated, it was quantified, and we had a very good chance of success. And you saw what happened. It ended up working out even better than we'd planned.
We got lucky because the dire wolf shut down. If it hadn't, a lot of us would have been in a lot of trouble.
We would have been in trouble, but as I said, it was a calculated risk where we knew...
Did you see Bandito's mech? He was going to go down soon.
Yes, I did see that. That was very unfortunate, and trust me, I was damn near wetting myself. I was so scared that he was going to go down. It's a risk every time we go out there.
Then why did we go out there when we were told we could stop?
Well, to be perfectly honest, there were two reasons. Money and revenge.
Well, that might be your reason, sir. That wasn't really my reasons.
Well, that was my reasons.
My reasons was to get that dropship, to get the cloning technology.
There was that as well.
We could help.
That was, I will admit, that was a factor, but that wasn't one of my driving factors.
Sheridan's like, oh yeah, save people's lives too, I guess.
There was that, but I will be completely honest, that was not one of my driving factors.
Well, at least you're honest.
I did promise you honesty. I won't ever knowingly lie to you. Not when it comes to things like this. I might tell you your paint scheme sucks when it doesn't, but...
My paint scheme never sucks.
I know, but too much praise can be a bad thing.
You've given me like 0 praise.
I've given you plenty of praise. You just refuse to listen to it.
When did you give me praise?
Sir, you've given her minimum to no praise. I have the logs.
How much have you been recording me, Bandito? That's disturbing.
They're recorded at all times when we're in mechs, practically.
Oh, yes, correct.
It's in our contract, actually.
Well, I haven't praised you very much, so let me do so now. You're one hell of a mech pilot. You're one hell of a painter. And you're a gigantic pain in the ass, but you are somehow still at the same time a wonderful person. And I'm glad to have you around, even if you are making me uncomfortable with all these questions.
Why are you uncomfortable?
Because I don't enjoy. I've just recently been through a great deal of questioning where my life literally hung in the balance. I can understand I might be feeling a little bit put off.
I sent you a letter. So I didn't think you were gonna die. Makes you feel better.
Harridan brings up his email. What is it?
No, I sent the letter to the court.
Oh,
It's the one that never got read.
oh,
It was
unfortunate.
red. It was red. We just maybe didn't do it on camera.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Hopefully you didn't try convincing them to kill me.
If I tried to convince them to kill you, I believe you would be dead.
That's good to know. Thank you for that.
Is there anything else that you guys have been keeping secret?
Well, let's see. Clans hated us. We work for their intelligence.
We've done a couple of black operations. Is that one of them we should
Black operations. Yeah. I could make, if you want to read about those, I can make sure you get all the necessary mission reports.
What do you mean black operations?
Oh,
off the book operations.
off the books, under the table, facility raids and the like.
One was we went to go.
Bit of piracy, truth be told.
One operations we went to one planet to try to get as much clan tech as possible for a research raid.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It was against the Jade Falcons, which are a group that are not too particular with the Steel Vipers. Truth be told, we had a very high chance of not coming back from this just because we couldn't have got out of orbit in time.
It seems to happen to us quite often.
Well, luckily, we had people that understood the terms there. Second one was a raid in the Dracon's Combine where we went to get as much as the new technology of the refit kits, where they could replace the old tech with new tech as far as the mechs go.
And that was for Rasselhog, if I remember correctly. No?
I'm blanking who it was for. To be perfectly honest.
Arthur, who was that for?
Yeah, I'll go get the season 2.
But that's, that's...
It was for the Jarl of Altenmark personally, and you were raiding the planet Rubigen. And that's the mission where Kenneth Cross died.
Oh, yes. Looks at Molly Olsen and just kind of, yes. That. Ms. Olsen, you've been very quiet since you snuck into the room.
What do you want me to say?
Do you have any questions?
Nope.
How very ominous.
You know me. Ominous is my middle name.
When Harridan says that ominous comment, Black Rabbit just goes to completely avoid eye contact.
Just like super obvious.
Something wrong? Black Rabbit?
There's lots of things wrong.
Insight check.
Fair enough.
I realize some of these answers don't make you happy, but as I said, I'll tell you the truth. For good or ill, you deserve to know what you'd be getting into if you decided to stay with units or if you decided to depart.
I have to admit, I was expecting better answers.
Does everybody in the unit feel the same way about the truth as you do?
I hope so. I can't speak for the minds of everyone, but you know, if we can't tell each other the truth, then where would that leave us?
It's a great
I
question.
mean, Miss Olsen, you should know my mind better on this. I literally placed my gun in your hands to kill me if I was lying.
I mean, what do you want? You want to have another conversation about how you're the only unit around when Kenneth Ross died?
Not particularly, no.
Me neither.
That was an extremely uncomfortable conversation, to say the least.
I mean, I would say that we could have the conversation without a gun in my hand, but if we're being honest, I wouldn't need a gun, sir.
Harridan looks at his character sheet. You're probably correct. But as I said, especially with that conversation, I have always been on that topic. I have been completely honest with you to the best of my ability.
I believed you then. I don't have any reason not to believe you now.
Okay. Just thought I'd make sure.
If I had felt differently, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Both of us would probably be dead.
You're a little bit more serious than usual today. You're feeling all right.
I'm always this serious.
Yeah, not quite this serious.
I didn't know this was supposed to be a jokey conversation.
No, not entirely, but even in a non-joking scenario, you tend to have a bit of an acerbity to you that belies an underlying wit.
It's been a rough month, sir.
Indeed.
And I don't know, having some time off to think has really only brought that rough month into sharper contrast with what is supposed to be normal.
To be fair, that cruise ship is not normal. For most people. I mean, that's kind of my life. But
you ain't lying.
Normal is relative. Subjective.
Flashback to a Fight Club style sex scene between Molly and Rapier. Snap back to the present.
maybe we should all like talk for a little bit.
Indeed. Harridan opens a drawer to his desk and pulls out a bunch of glasses and a mostly full bottle of scotch, and then just pours out a few generous rounds.
I've been asking you a lot of questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, actually, I do. You seem to be a person of no small means. Definitely raised wealthy. Why did someone like you end up in a mercenary unit? It's not exactly like you're wanting for cash.
My parents wanted me to go to doctor school, but I thought being a Mechwarrior would be more fun.
Sounds like you.
And it was a lot more fun, up until a spy infiltrated a group and killed them all.
Sorry to hear that.
This is not fun. Lately.
I can imagine it wasn't. You're in a group, a bunch of people that you don't even know, being put in harm's way day after day after day, fighting a battle that's not your own. Can understand that. So what is it you were looking for when you were joining this unit? You said your parents were killed. Some form of spy. Do you know who they were from, why they did it, what they were after?
I don't remember what country or planet or whatever I said it was from. Maybe.
Well, we do have ties with Lyran Intelligence. Perhaps we could send them some requests and see if we could dig up some additional information for you.
The why is probably because they were ambassadors of the Majesty of Kenothis.
Make a lot of sense as to why they would be high profile, but as for killing,
As to killing, I don't know.
typically the only reason to kill an ambassador is if they learned something that they weren't supposed to know. You have any idea what that might be?
No.
Well, if you'd like, we could ask our friends at Lyran Intelligence, see what they could find out.
I would like that.
Any resources at my disposal are your resources. We'll see it done.
Anything else?
Well, now that the fighting has died down, we've had a chance to explain ourselves a bit. What are your thoughts on the future?
Well, hypothetically, if I knew someone who had wronged me terribly and I needed a mercenary unit to travel across the galaxy and destroy their lives, would you be willing to help in an entirely hypothetical endeavor?
This is a very peculiar hypothetical.
Oddly specific, actually.
It's just an exercise, that I've done at every unit I've been to. Is we always ask the same hypothetical question to see, what level of support we could expect.
You're a member of my lance.
In an extreme situation.
You're a member of my lance. The question doesn't even need to be asked.
I see.
We've done it before.
If you need help with something, I will do whatever's in my power to help.
That's good to know.
Ernie kind of squints at her a little bit. Like, what are you going to ask me to do?
It's hypothetical. It's entirely hypothetical.
Kill Bandito.
I got a not so.
Now that I say that, though, I feel I should specify. Not exactly going to go around murdering innocent people just because you asked us to.
No, I said destroy someone's life. I didn't say murder anyone.
No. Well,
I mean, if anybody here is an expert on someone trying to destroy their lives, it's you, Commander.
well, that's true.
If anyone here would know how to do it better than anyone else, and it's almost like she's coming to this conclusion out loud to herself as well, you would be that person. You even know a lot of the people who professionally destroy lives.
Indeed.
I think at this
I
point,
know that very well. Half of them
Right,
destroyed my life.
She kind of looks over to Black Rabbit like,
Sheridan's eyes just narrow just a minute fraction further.
So hypothetically, who is this hypothetical person that hypothetically we would go over to?
Hypothetically speaking, I would imagine the hypothetical person's life that would have to be hypothetically destroyed would be probably someone that works in covert operations somewhere on a planet circling a star far, far away.
like I said, it's just a standard group team building hypothetical exercises to discuss this hypothetical scenario. I'm surprised you guys have never encountered it before. It's really, sophomore level Kenneth Cross education when it comes to team building.
Well, it's
And,
not exactly what you would call
synergy.
trust falls.
Well, we're not in the business of catching people. We're in the Business of blowing people up, sir.
That's a fair point, I suppose. Miss Olson, you scare the hell out of me sometimes.
Thank you, sir.
I have a not so important question for Miss Black Rabbit. When is that pleasure ship going to come back?
Like
Now, Bandito.
Okay, well, yeah, sir, I got a vacation in like 5 years. I'm going to let you know.
Why do you want to go now? You wouldn't come when I asked you to.
I had to do paperwork, unfortunately.
I mean, I would have been more than happy to attend.
I even asked you to come as a favor.
I'm sorry.
Bandito, you couldn't take a couple of days?
No, because I had to do your paperwork. And I had to look up the pricing for the stupid gate that I destroyed.
That was an excuse, Bandito.
How dare you go on the trial?
You could have found the time. Naughty.
Apologies.
Just for that, Black Rabbit gets to paint your quarters.
It's fine. It was already
Actually, no.
my
That
line.
clansman that was helping you paint my quarters, he does such a fantastic job. I think we should have him paint Bandito's quarters as well.
That's fine. My red yarn line's been destroyed anyway.
Your what?
Sorry, what?
Don't worry about it. I had a whole thing about clanners and their move. Yeah, it's nothing important.
Well,
Yeah.
interesting bunch, I suppose. What am I going to do with you lot?
Do with me?
All of you.
Oh. Hey, sir, I have a question. Why are we getting so many tanks? And why was there a lot of tax exemptions?
Oh, we had to make certain deals for people for favors over the course of the clan invasion. And now that the invasion is over, those favors are trading hands.
Okay, I was just curious because I had to do all that work, and I was.
Some of those contracts were made under duress, sir. I don't know if that's worth the Countess being briefed.
Oh, I
She
already
found out about it anyway.
whether she chooses to fulfill them or not. So
Understood.
I imagine it would probably be more politically expedient for her to just go along with them than to try and fight them.
If I remember, didn't we include like some timelines for the renegotiation
We did, yes.
so that we wouldn't be gouged for forever?
And assuming Bandito remembered that paperwork.
It is present.
Make an administration roll. No, just kidding.
No, I've marked my calendars to the renegotiation date, sir. Don't worry.
So what about you, Miss Olsen? I know why you came here. What about for the future?
The future is shrouded in mystery, as always, sir. Would she have signed like an initial contract, Arthur? How does that normally work with mercenaries and mercenary companies?
Yeah, you would have signed it even before coming to the planet.
Right. So do you know like what is it, like a 6-year? What's the standard
1 year.
contract? 1 year? Okay.
Yep.
And how long has it been?
How
much would I have left on my contract?
planet? It's been. So this conversation takes place when he's out of prison. Correct. So it's been about 3 months.
It's only been 3 months.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, I
You have
got
about 9 months left to
I
serve.
have 9 months left to decide what the future looks like, sir. Until then, it looks like whatever you tell me it looks like.
I would say typically with a 1-year contract, there's a 3-day or a 3-month early release clause.
like a retention.
What happens if you break that contract?
Kind of like an internship.
You have to pay.
You're hired on full.
Right, you have to pay a forfeiture
Right.
penalty.
Oh, she's asking Harridan.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
What happens if we break that contract?
Well, contract is a contract is a contract. Likely you'd be sued. Comstar would probably be involved.
Like how much money?
Nothing for you to worry about.
Probably nothing that would even.
Is there just like a
Probably
pay out your
less-
contract clause?
Probably less money than it'd be worth for you to even stop and pick up on the sidewalk. Let's be honest. However, if you two felt that strongly that you wanted to leave without finishing off your terms, I would see about releasing you from your contracts.
I don't have any of those intentions as of right now.
I didn't say I was going to leave.
Good. I hope you
Yeah.
don't.
That being said, do you have a solid reason why I should stay?
I'm not going to leave, but convince me to stay.
Well,
Hypothetically.
you are a superior pilot. You're extremely trustworthy. I would love to keep you around as long as you would be willing to stay on with us. Plus, as I said, there's that looking into that matter about your parents. At the very least, I'd hope you stuck around while we tried and got to the bottom of that.
Why do you think you can trust me?
When you ask a question like that, I
Not
immediately
the
know
most
not to.
elitist question ever, yeah.
Because you got angry at the mere prospect of us betraying an alliance with people that were mere terrorists. If that prospect offends you, then you are a person worthy of trust. Even if you are a gigantic pain in my ass.
I'm not a pain in your ass. You're a pain in mine.
Well, I am good at that sort of thing.
I got put in a group that I barely knew, and a man tried to tell me what to do. Do you know how absurd that is from where I'm from?
I can imagine rather odd, yes.
Absurd.
Roman gets it.
I can understand how that would be rather odd for you. And I apologize that it wasn't a proper time for an adjustment period, but the clan has sort of preempted that.
Proper time for adjustment period?
Well, normally we take lighter missions so we have a chance to fill each other out and get to know each other as lance mates before anything is committed to long term.
Let's
This is my land.
hypothetically say that was someone's first battle and they had only done simulations before. What would you say to that?
Say, I'm sorry, had to put you in that situation, but you did one hell of a job.
Was indeed one hell of a job.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, of course.
You scored an 8 on the rodeo on your first try.
See,
Oh,
Bandito,
no.
no one knows what that means.
What's a rodeo?
I miss McGurk.
Said no one ever.
Wait,
You'd
what
be
is that?
surprised how many people on YouTube are like, I want that military unit knowledge from McGurk. Where are these McGurkisms? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't make him do
No
what I
one
want.
in our unit. We should-
Who's McGurk?
Your predecessor. Also an extremely quirky individual.
that's a word for it. Yeah.
We seem to attract those sort of people.
You're just
What's
not
that?
realizing that?
Quirkiness. Yes.
What was the planet called again, Arthur? Rubigen?
Rubigen.
Rubigen? Was that the Axeman pilot on Rubigen?
Yes, that would be him.
Yeah, I'd say
He was
quirky.
the one that showed his butt to.
Good
What?
descriptor.
He was the one that awkwardly tried to pants. Kenneth
Yes,
Cross.
he literally mooned the enemy.
We don't know why he did that. He did it.
He also sprinted at a fully functional heavy mech with no cockpit and nothing but a giant axe.
You know
Yeah,
what, Rad? I don't want you forcing the rest of the unit
Nope,
to
time for some
explain your own
self-aggrandizing.
actions. You have to let it die, Rad.
It'll never
Only
die,
person I
Arthur.
knew- he's the only
It'll live
person
forever.
I ever knew who went through an entire mech combat sans cockpit and then would light his cigar off the burning hulk surrounding him.
We were on the other side of the field, and he was clearly mentally unstable.
You know, smoking is horrible for your health.
It really is.
I totally agree that it
Curtis,
was
like,
mentally stable.
Takes the cigar case off his desk and puts it into a drawer.
He slides it.
Secondly, I did the whole jumping from an assault mech thing. Okay, where I had no armor. Actually, it was I had.
Why are you bragging about his stupid feet?
I'm not. I'm just trying to show. reason.
Bandito, no one enjoys a braggart.
I'm not really bragging. I'm just letting you know that it's stupid comes with the job here.
I don't think I've done anything that stupid.
You're one of the few smart ones here.
That does not make me feel any better about staying.
Well, to be fair, I think she's one of the two smart people here. Unfortunately, they're both female.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
Aren't they always?
Look, we're way past break time. I feel bad breaking up this conversation, but this is a good point. We can let you segue defend that when we get back in the second half. Stick around. We'll be back in about 8 minutes.